Hey, second and third graders, coming at you with a new math video today that we're going to look at. Now, you might see me adjust the iPad that I'm recording with a few times today to get some things in the shot, but what we're going to work on is one of the things that we talked about right before we left school. We got together as a whole group and we talked about measuring stuff. And if you can think back to that conversation, we talked about how there's two types of systems that we use, just like on our ruler. We have the inch side, and then on the back side, we have the centimeter side. And we talked about how that works with different types of units. So we've got some vocabulary words that we're going to learn today and work with a little bit. And if you can remember back to that conversation, this will be pretty easy. And even if you didn't, we're going to get there no matter what. Now, we have some different ways that we like to measure. Now, our first one is a cup. If you've ever done any cooking or any baking with your mom, dad, grandma, whoever, you may notice that they use a cup. And I have a baking cup right here. This is about the size of a cup. I have some smaller units too that are fractions of a cup, half a cup, third of a cup, eighth a cup. But a regular cup is just like this. That should give you an idea about how big it is, how much it holds. More than likely you've got one at home. Now, one thing that I don't have, one of our vocab words for today I don't have, is called a pint. Now that's one that here in America we use a little bit, but not as often as a cup. A pint is similar to a cup, but it's a little bit bigger. In fact, it's twice as big. So if you were looking for a pint, 1 cup, 2 cups, that makes a pint. If we're thinking in terms of one of our other vocab words that we talked about during our last lesson back in school, we talked about ounces. We talked about how if you have a can of pop or soda or something like that, a can is usually 12 ounces. Well, a cup is 8 ounces. So just a little bit less than what a normal can of soda or can of pop would be. And a pint would be a little bit more than a can of soda. If you have a regular bottle of water that you buy from the store, often those are just a tiny bit bigger than a pint. Those are usually like 16.8 ounces. So that's your difference between a cup and a pint. Now, other ones, and you'll see behind me here some of the stuff on the screen. I'll move around a little bit in a minute to get it all. We talked about liters. Again, in class, we talked about things you might find at the grocery store. Oftentimes, you might buy a 2 liter of pop. Those are those big containers. If I get mine right here, I've got a couple that'll mark a liter. Right here, a big measuring cup. There's a liter in there. That's the size, if you guys can think back to school days, that big black water bottle that I usually drink out of during the day. That's about a liter. That's 32 ounces. That's the same this that I'm holding right here. That's a liter. So you can see, obviously, that holds quite a bit more than our cup. So a bigger unit of measure with the liter. Now, if we wanted to measure much, much smaller units of measurement, even smaller than an ounce, and you guys got this with our measuring. We talked about meters, centimeters, the smallest one. Again, think in your head, milliliters. And those oftentimes are on the back side of this cup. If I hold it up, you can see right there, it shows there's 1,000 milliliters in a liter. We also looked at 100 milliliters. We used our graduated cylinder that we can use for science. 100 going to just this little tiny thing right here. That's about maybe 1 or 2 drinks of water for 100 milliliters. 1 milliliter is all these tiny little lines is 1 milliliter. So super small. Just little droplets of water make a milliliter. So that's one of our really, really small ones. Now, I'm jumping around back and forth here. One that I think most kids get, the big one when we measure gallons, is our big one. We would use that to measure, like I have a hot tub at home, and I've heard a couple maybe of you guys do at your house. There's a certain amount of gallons of water that go into a hot tub. That's obviously a bigger pool of water. So you wouldn't want to measure that with cups or milliliters or even liters because it would take a whole bunch of them. But in gallons, even though it still takes a whole bunch, if I can think to mine at home, I think it's like 380 gallons. That would be filling up these things right here. You can see gallon, there's a line right there for a gallon. You can also think if you go to the grocery store with your parents, lots of times you buy gallons of milk. They've got the big handle on it. Not the small little skinny ones, but the big ones. That's a gallon. So those are some of our vocab terms that we're working on with our liquid measuring. We call that volume, if you remember, which not to be confused with like the volume noise that you hear on the radio in your car. Volume in terms of liquid. So we've got some things here on the board that I want to go through. This is a page in the 3rd grade book, but all of us are more than capable of doing this. And I'm going to give you a little wait time here before I answer the question, just to give you an idea so you can think in your head at home what might be the best appropriate thing. We've got some different things. Right here is a baby's bottle. So if you can think about what a baby's bottle would that be 2 cups or 2 quarts? So if I look, would a baby's bottle be 1 cup, 2 cup? Or if I look at my quarts, that would be, again, one of these things, similar to a liter, would be a quart. And we didn't talk about that one before, but would a baby's bottle be 1 or 2 of these? If you hadn't guessed, baby's bottle would be about 2 cups. 2 cups. Moving on over here, a small fish tank. Now this looks like it can hold a couple of goldfish, so not maybe a big aquarium, but a smaller fish tank. I envision it to be about, this size, maybe a little bit wider than my shoulders here. Would that be 5 cups? So again, my measuring cup, 5 cups to fill that up. Would that fill the tank, or would we need 5 gallons? 5 gallons. Think about that one for a little bit. Now, some of these can be a little bit tricky. I would think 5 gallons would be appropriate, because if we just look at this, 1 gallon, 5 cups would probably only fill this thing up to about right here. That wouldn't be enough for a couple fish to swim in, but 5 of these would go into a bigger jar. That would be more than enough to fill a tank so a couple of these little guys could swim in and stay healthy and alive. If I come on down, this looks like a tea kettle. Our choices are 1 pint or 1 gallon. So I've still got my gallon here. If we remember back, I'll grab it one more time. 1 pint is the same as 2 cups. So what do you think would fill this up? 1, 2, or 1 of these? Best answer again, I would say, even though this is bigger than maybe a couple tea kettles, 1 gallon, that looks about the size of a tea kettle if you were brewing some tea or some coffee or something to drink for more than one person, which is why you would use a kettle instead of maybe just a mug. You would want to have something bigger than just right here. Again, we could drink this pretty quick. Now we come over to here. We can have this. Our choices are 1 cup or 1 pint. So 1 cup or 1 pint, which is this times 2. 1, 2. Now this again is a hard one. I'm not a big fan of this question on the page, but we'll answer it anyway since it's here. I would say, depending on the size of a cup, a lot of your cups at home are probably bigger and can hold a pint, but I think this is a cup, so it's a cup. Small glass at home, maybe a small juice glass, maybe it's really skinny so it doesn't hold as much. 1 cup would be good for that, but either way, just depends on the size of your cup. So again, kind of a tough question. Now, get a little bit easier down here in the corner. If you can see, I might adjust the iPad just a little bit for you guys. Is we've got a snow globe. So if you can think of a snow globe, many of you guys probably have those at Christmas. Excuse my adjustment here so you can see the answers. Snow globe, our choices are 1 cup or 1 gallon. Hopefully this is an easy one. Our gallon, much bigger than a snow globe, so that's not going to do it. It's got to be 1 cup. And then the last one, a bathtub down here. Choices are 30 cups, so 30 of our cups, or 30 gallons. Hopefully, again, a little bit easier as we went on here. Just like I talked about with the hot tub at home, my hot tub's much bigger than my home tub in my bathroom. So 30 gallons at least we would need to start to fill up some of this tub so that someone could sit in there and take a bath or wash themselves a little bit. So those gives you an idea of our different measuring units that we're doing for volume. Watch out for either a link to a learning app or a worksheet online that you can link to answer some more questions about what the appropriate measuring tool would be or measuring unit. Pints, gallons, cups, quarts, liters, gallons, all of those. Again, we make it really confusing because here in America we use both the metric system and the standard system, but we can figure them all out if we just think in our heads and remember 1 or 2 cups, 1 pint, quart and liter about the same. 2 liters is similar to a gallon, so those go together a little bit, and things of that nature. Good luck with the quiz, guys. Miss y'all. Stay safe. Have a good day.